U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammed Zarif have met once again in Switzerland for yet more talks on Iran's nuclear program. Monday's meeting was the pair's sixth round of discussions this year. Negotiators face an end-of-March target to reach the outline of a deal that will ultimately eliminate Iran's ability to develop nuclear weapons. Our correspondent Richard Bustic has the latest from Geneva.
As the deadline on Iran's nuclear program looms, the UN set the stage for what could prove to be the most important and at the same time divisive international agreement in decades. The message the US Secretary of State brought with him was blunt enough. Iran's talking, but needs to do more.
That the best way to deal with the questions surrounding this nuclear program is to find a comprehensive deal, but not a deal that comes at any cost, not a deal just for the purpose of the deal, a deal that meets the test of providing the answers and the guarantees that are needed in order to know that the four pathways to a nuclear bomb have been closed off.
For Iran, securing a deal will mean the end to sanctions and a major boost to the country's economy. Insisting its nuclear program was for peaceful purposes, Iran's foreign minister said agreement could be reached within a week if sanctions were lifted.
That sanctions and agreement don't go together. If they want an agreement, sanctions must go. Sanctions, they have to realize, are not an asset, have never been an asset, they're a liability, and this liability, the sooner they remove this liability from the table, the sooner we get to an agreement.
At the International Atomic Energy Authority in Vienna, the view was that Iran had been slow to answer questions about its nuclear program's possible military dimensions.
I stress the need to accelerate the work for the clarification of issues.
During his time here in Geneva, the US Secretary of State intrigued observers with a further warning, this time not directed at Iran.
It was against selective leaks, thought here in Geneva to be a reference to a speech to be made later in the week in the United States by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in which he will itemize the areas that he doesn't agree with in the negotiations so far. Richard Bustic, CCTV at the UN, Geneva.